And hello, everyone. Time for Weather University. It's been a long time since I've sat in this chair and done this, and it's been a very long time. It might be 4 months since this guy joined me, Tyler Hall. Tyler, how are you?
Yeah, good morning, Matt. Good morning out there, everyone. Glad to be here.
This is going to be fun. We're going to just talk a little bit about what January did and what February lies ahead. So before I was out last week, we were looking at January saying this is going to be so cold. That wasn't going to be like number one cold, but we were going to finish like possibly top 10. But then all of a sudden things changed last week. So Tyler, fill me in. What happened?
Yeah, so most of the month obviously was chilly in the afternoon. We had a lot of cold mornings, of course, including that 9-degree that we had a couple weeks ago. And then last week we turned milder, and we had some really good rain happen at the end of last week.
So we dropped out of the top 10. So let's kind of go backward and then forward here. So you said we got real mild last week. And, I mean, every day last week was above normal, which we hadn't done really for the entire month, as you're looking at the graphic there, right? So that's number one. Then, of course, during that real cold spell, as you said, we had teens and that 9-degree morning. But once you hit numbers like that, it just takes you out of the running. So it was a not top 10, like an ESPN not top 10.
Right, yeah. Yep.
We were so hopeful.
This isn't too surprising, to be honest.
No.
But it's interesting.
It is. I mean, because we were heading, and then all of a sudden it just kind of fell apart there. So it only takes a couple of days to really knock you out of it. And I think before I left, I think we were looking at number 7. So it wasn't like we were way up there.
Right.
We were decent, right? But then again, you get a couple of days in the 50s for highs, where the average high is 49 to 50. That causes some troubles. Then you hit 60s, and those overnight lows also did it. Do you remember, were those overnight lows in like the upper 30s, low 40s during that past week? Do you remember anything? Because I was completely out of it.
30s? Yeah. 30s and 40s?
Yeah. So that, I mean, once you start to go above both, it really takes the whole thing out of whack. All right.
Right, absolutely.
So here we are today, February 3rd, and I don't know. I mean, it's got to get better, right? I mean, the groundhog the groundhog didn't say so. How do you feel about the groundhog, Tyler?
You know, to be honest, I knew it happened yesterday. I didn't even pay attention.
Good for you. Good for you. That's the way to be.
I know it. I know it's a fun and light thing, and the kids love it. I get all of that.
Right.
But it's a fun tradition up in Pennsylvania. But yeah,
you're not boasting your entire world on the rodent. Is that what you're saying? You don't believe in the rat. I don't believe in the rat. Look, I think the rat. I'm not a big fan. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
I've been on air talking about this. And really, if you look at it, Tyler, right? So March 20th to 21st is when spring begins.
Right.
And February 2nd is when Groundhog Day is. If we do a little math, I'm pretty sure we come up with 6 weeks. So when he sees his shadow, and it's 6 more weeks of winter, shockingly enough, that gets us to spring.
Right, yeah, I was just doing the math in my head. That's about 46-ish days.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean,
funny how that works.
All right, so in February, beginning of the month, we're 49 for a high. By the end of the month, we eke it up to 55. We are usually kind of dry during the month in terms of rainfall or liquid, just about 2.5 inches, which is a really bad thing because as we begin to get into the beginning of March, looking ahead, that sets us up for dry grounds, and maybe fire season, which is a big problem. And I think, was there some issues last week with some fire weather watch or something?
Yeah, we weren't put under any watches or warnings or anything like that. But basically, a fire weather statement was put out late last week before those rains that we had on Friday. But earlier on in the week, we were telling people for a couple of days not to do any outdoor burning.
And that's because not only were we warm, but we were really windy as well, right?
Correct. Yeah. Warm, windy, very low humidity, dry soils, all that stuff. I mean, we really haven't had much rain outside of Friday. I was looking at it over the weekend when I was here. A few weeks prior, we had significant rain, but outside of that, it's been very dry for several weeks.
And now we're going back to some dry weather. We do have the risk of some showers. Let's bring up this 8-day forecast here because if you want to talk about a roller coaster, you look at this weekend.
I know.
I mean, we were talking about this morning, when I'm in my grumpy mood before my coffee is kicking in, and Tyler's like, I'm not going to talk to Matt right now because he's a little grumpy. He hasn't had the coffee kicking in. I know. 64, 63, nice. But then, the bottom drops out Wednesday, 39.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm actually in the process of forecasting for the noon today, and seeing this crazy drop in the middle of the week.
It is crazy, and there's just enough moisture because it's going to be, we get the cold air damming, which, by the way, people who don't know, it's when our winds come out of the northeast and they back the cold air in against the hills to the west, so that cold air gets locked in, and there might be just enough moisture for some showers, but if it's cold enough, and I think that's possible for Caroline County, Louisa County, north, there might be a little bit of sleet or some freezing drizzle mixed in, and that'd be Wednesday afternoon. But then all of a sudden, look at Friday again. We're back to 63.
Right. Yeah, so I think if we do indeed get a wintry mix on Wednesday, and with us warming up, obviously impacts and accumulations are going to be pretty low, right?
And I don't.
So that's the good news.
That is the great news, right? We're not going to be looking at an issue for Thursday morning because I think that we have 36 there Wednesday night, Thursday morning, but I think that's probably going to be around midnight, and then you're going to see temperatures probably rise into early Thursday as that warmer air starts to kick in, which is great. All right, so then we stop it there on Monday because we do an 8-day forecast, right? Because it's Channel 8.
Yep.
But we have ways to look further beyond, right? Look down the road in time.
Down the pike.
And yowza. I don't like this at all. Hey, look, I hate winter. We all know that. I make no bones about it. That looks like winter's trying to make a return.
Right. Yeah. I'm not looking forward to it either. You and I talked about it earlier about the dry air. The dry air causes a lot of issues for a lot of folks. So the dry air and the colder air is just not a good combination. And yes, it's still February, so basically don't put away your winter weather gear yet.
That's the smart right there.
Anytime soon.
Yeah, for sure. So that cold air could be here by the February 14th, February 13th, kind of the middle of the month.
Right.
And it may lock in for quite some time, maybe into the beginning of March. In the big picture, I was reading some stuff yesterday posted by some really smart guys, guys who are much smarter than you and me, about stratospheric warming and blah, blah, blah. And that usually leads to another polar vortex situation. And so that's what the hint is of here, just to kind of go with that.
Interesting.
And then there's also the risk that we could be looking at some above normal, again, maybe a little bit, but above normal precipitation. So the question will be, Tyler, will that cold air and the precip be here on time? And will we be looking at snow for all those snow lovers? And who loves snow? Why would anybody love snow?
Right. Or a mix situation here, cold rain and snow in the mountains.
Yeah, possible, right?
I know the mountains, Wintergreen and Snowshoe and all those areas are loving it this winter.
The best skiing conditions in the past 5 years. I mean, they have been hurting. People are out there. They're having fun. It's great. And with the nights getting cold at times, they're also making snow, which is helping out. So for the first time in a long time, really extending that winter season. All right, Tyler. So here we go. So we got up and down this week.
Right.
Potential for another Arctic blast. Maybe something coming down the pike if the cold air and the precip mishes together.
Right.
Mishes together. That's a very technical
Mixes
term.
together.
Mishes, Mixes.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see how next week plays out.
And the groundhog is back to sleep.
He is.
Yeah, well, he's back at his thing. They burrow for the winter. There you
go.
All right, you got anything else we want to talk about?
No, nothing.
Let me ask you a serious question.
Yeah, go for it.
Chiefs or Eagles, and why?
Oh, boy, on Sunday. Well, officially, I'm going to make my Facebook prediction tomorrow on my page and then, my regular page because I've been doing that every week. I'm actually doing really good with predictions.
Because you didn't do good in fantasy football.
All right. Thank you very much for that. Anyways, moving on. I think Chiefs.
You think Chiefs?
Very close.
You think they pull the three-peat off? Mm-hmm. And so is it the overall team? Is it Patrick Mahomes? Is it Steve Spagnuolo? Is it all the above? What gives you this potential thought process on the Chiefs?
For me, it's their coaching staff,
Okay.
Their defense for sure, and their offense has just enough weapons around Mahomes
Gotcha.
to get it done.
There
I
you
think it's going to be close because the Eagles are very fun to watch on the offensive side of the ball.
I like the Eagles. I think
Yeah.
I think Saquon Barkley is impossible to stop right now, and I don't think that the Chiefs have the way to stop him. And even if they do, with Brown and Smith on the other side, I think it makes it tough. So it should be a good game no matter what. So you like the Chiefs, I like the Eagles.
We'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens. All right. Anyway, for Weather University, that's Tyler Hall. I'm Matt DiNardo, and we hope you guys have a fantastic day. That's done.